Slow flow hatha yoga, Sundays at 4, and I'm Pat. We're going to start in mountain pose, standing on our mats. So let's get ourselves into position. And in mountain pose, we want to be sure that our feet are hip width apart. We don't want to be too wide or too close. We're pressing our big toe, our baby toe, and our heel into the mat. We're lifting our chest, tightening our core, thinking about lifting our arches so that our legs are engaged. And we're going to lift our arms up overhead, inhaling as we lift and exhaling as we drop our arms down. Inhale again as we lift our arms up overhead and exhale as we sweep our arms down. One more time, inhale up and exhale down. Beautiful. Now this time, let's lift our arms straight up overhead as we inhale. Our palms will face each other, but not touch. So our arms are straight up, fingertips pointed to the ceiling, fingers wide, shoulders aiming to keep our shoulders down and back, our core tight, and then exhale as we come down again. Inhale, again, hands facing, palms facing each other, fingertips to the ceiling, but palms not touching. We're just feeling the warmth between our palms as our palms are facing each other, but not touching, and then exhaling down again. Inhale one more time up, and exhale down. Now this time, let's lift our arms up overhead. Let's bring our palms together as though we're diving into a pool. So we're pressing our palms together overhead and exhaling down. Again, lifting our arms up, pressing our palms together as though we're diving into a pool or a lake. We don't want to dive into a lake, I guess, in the winter, but just keeping our palms together and then exhaling down. One more time, lifting our arms, sweeping up, pressing our palms together, and exhaling down. Now let's take our hands and interlace our fingers behind our back. Again, we're continuing to keep our legs engaged, lifting our arches, keeping our core tight, pressing our chest forward and our shoulders back. And inhale and exhale. And again, inhale and exhale. And one more time, inhale through our nose and exhale. Now let's release our hands. Let's lift both arms up overhead, drop our right arm down to our side, press our fingertips up and just slightly to the side as we're feeling a stretch up the left side of our body. Fingers are wide, pressing to the ceiling, just slightly to the side, keeping our arm by our ear, and then dropping our arm down. Inhaling up again. This time, let's drop our left arm down, keep our right arm up. Again, fingertips pressed up to the ceiling, just slightly to the side, feeling a stretch up the side of our body. And then exhale down. Let's take our hands to heart center. Let's turn to face the short edge of the mat. And we're going to move into flying bird. So we're just going to step back with our right leg. Our left knee is bent and our arms are open. We inhale. And then as we step forward, we bring our arms together and we exhale, stepping forward and exhale. And then we're going to step back with our front knee bent, open up our arms, inhale, and then bringing our arms together and exhaling as we step forward. This time, let's try to open our arms as we step back. So open and inhale as we step back with our right, our left leg is bent, and then exhale as we come forward. Stepping back with our left, right knee is bent, arms are wide, and exhaling forward. Let's just continue to do this. Focusing on inhaling as we step back, exhaling as we step forward. We breathe in when our arms are open and our chest is open, And we exhale as we come forward and bring our arms together to heart center. Let's just continue to do 2 more of these on each side. Just focusing on getting our rhythm, getting our breath in sync with our movements. Just do 1 more on each side. Stepping back with our arms open, stepping forward, stepping back with our left arms open, stepping forward. And now let's just sit back into chair. Again, just keeping our arms at heart center and then straightening again. Let's sit back into chair again. Straightening up. And this time when we sit back into chair, we're going to open our arms and we're going to sweep our arms in front of our bent knees. So let's bring our arms out to the side, sit back into chair, sweep our arms in front of our bent knees and come all the way up. Let's do that again. Let's sit back into chair, sweep our arms in front of our bent knees, bring our arms up and straighten up. And let's continue to do that. So we're going to sit back into chair, sweep our arms in front of our bent knees, bring our arms up and straighten at the same time. Again, we're going to inhale as we come down. Inhale when our arms are open. Exhale. Inhale when our arms are open. Just continue to do this. So we're going to sit back into chair, sweep our arms in front of our bent legs, bring our arms up high. Sit back, lift up. 1 more time, sit back into chair and sweep our arms. Now with our arms wide, this time we're going to swan dive all the way down to our hands and knees. So let's come all the way down, sweep our arms down, bring our hands to the mat, bring our knees to the mat, and let's move back into our first child's pose. So let's bring our knees to the long edge of the mat. Push back into child's pose. Just push all the way back. And just like gravity, bring our hips down. We're going to stay in child's pose for 5 breaths. And as we exhale on our 5th breath, we come up on our hands and knees. Let's bring our knees directly under our hips. Our arms, hands are directly under our shoulders. Our fingers are spread wide, so we have lots of space on the mat. Our feet can be flat on the mat behind us, or our toes can be turned under. And we're going to move into cat and cow. So we're going to start with cat by dropping our tailbone, rounding our back, looking through our legs, just holding in this position for 2 breaths. And then we're going to lift our tailbone, drop our chest, look up. Again, we're going to hold in cow for 2 breaths. And then we're going to move back into cat by dropping our tailbone, rounding our back, looking through our legs, and then moving into cow by lifting our tailbone, dropping our chest, looking straight ahead. And let's just continue to do this with our own breath. So if it feels better to stay in cat for more than 2 breaths, then stay there. If cow feels better, then maybe stay in cow for a few extra breaths. We just want to always lead with our tailbone, rounding our back, always leading, starting with our tailbone. Let's just do 2 more of whatever we're doing. Always in cow, lifting our tailbone first, dropping our chest, looking straight ahead. And again, leading with our tailbone for cat. 1 more of each. And now let's push back into child's pose again. Let's bring our legs, our knees wide to the long edge of the mat. And just, again, this time might feel a little bit easier, a little bit more relaxed as our hips are a little bit more open. We'll just hold here again for 5 breaths. And now let's come back up to hands and knees. Again, so we want to be sure that our knees are directly in line with our hips and our wrists are directly in line with our shoulders. So we want to make sure that our hands and our knees are in the right position so that we're not hurting our back. And we're going to move into Sunbird. So in Sunbird, we lift our leg at hip height with a bent knee, sole of the foot to the ceiling. And then we can either bring it back down to the mat, or we can round our back like we did in cat and bring our knee to our elbow. And then lifting it back up again. Again, we can put it right back on the mat if we like, or we can round our back and bring our knee to our elbow. One more time on this side, knee to our elbow. And then place that knee back on the mat. Let's do the other side. Let's lift our left leg with bent knee, sole of the foot to the ceiling. And again, we can place that knee back down on the mat, or we can round our back like we do in cat and bring our knee to our elbow. Bring it straight up again. Knee to elbow. Straight up again. One more time. Straight up, and then bring our knee back to the mat. And let's push back into child's pose again. This time, let's keep our knees closer together. And just press back. Let's bring our arms out long in front of us. Stretch our fingertips. Stretch our back as we're sitting back into child's pose. We'll just hold here again for 5 breaths. Now let's just press our hips slightly to the right, just feeling a little bit of a stretch on the outside of our right hip. And just hold there for a few breaths. Let's come back to center. And now let's push our hips over to the left. Again, just feeling a stretch on the outside of our left hip. And then come back to center. And now let's come up into kneeling plank. In kneeling plank, we have our shoulders over our fingertips. And then press back into child's pose. And then inhale as we come up into kneeling plank. And then exhale into child's pose. And let's just keep doing this with our breath. Inhaling as we come up into kneeling plank. Exhaling as we go back into child's pose. Let's just continue to do this. If we would rather be doing downward facing dog and full plank, we can do that as well. Again, we exhale on the way back. We inhale as we come forward. We're just alternating between plank or kneeling plank and downward facing dog and child's pose. So let's just do one more of whatever it is that we're doing today. And then let's press back again into child's pose, and we're going to hold here again in child's pose for 5 breaths. Let's just hold here. Now let's come up again on hands and knees, and let's move into spinal balance. So again, we want to make sure that our arms are in a straight line from our shoulders, and that our knees and our hips are in a straight line. Our fingers are spread wide, and we're going to lift, starting with just legs. We're going to lift our right leg at hip height with our toe pointed to the floor, pressing the sole of the foot to the wall behind us, really thinking about both keeping our hips level and also really pressing that foot behind us so that our leg really is being engaged. Just hold that for another couple of breaths. And now let's place that knee back down, and let's do the same with the left side, lifting our left leg, hip height, pressing the sole of the foot to the wall behind us, keeping our hips level, keeping our core tight, continuing to breathe. Now let's place that knee back down. Let's do one more with just legs. So let's lift right leg again, toe to the floor, sole of the foot, pressing away to the wall behind us. So we're not just lifting our leg, we're really, really pressing that sole of the foot behind us. So somebody was trying to push that foot. And let's place that knee back down. Again, do the same with our left. Really press the sole of the foot, toe to the floor, core tight, hips level. Let's place that knee down. And we can continue to do that with just legs if we like, or we can also add our arm at shoulder height. Again, our thumb is to the ceiling. We're pressing our fingers away, keeping the shoulder engaged and the leg engaged. And now let's switch sides again. So left leg up, right arm up, thumb to the ceiling, really keeping our core tight. Another couple of breaths. Switching sides again. Right leg up, toe to the floor, left arm, thumb to the ceiling. Holding for 3 breaths. And then switching sides. And engaging our core, keeping everything tight, holding in that position. And now hand and knee back to the mat. Let's push back again into child's pose with long arms. Just press out. Really feeling that stretch in our back. So this time, let's just move our arms, just walk our fingertips over slightly to the long edge of the mat. So let's walk both hands over to the right so we feel a stretch up our left side. And just stay in child's pose. Now let's walk our fingertips back to center. Again, just press our fingers away so we feel a stretch up our back. And then let's walk our fingertips over to the left so we feel a stretch up the right side of our body as we just press those fingertips away towards the left. Now let's walk our fingertips back to center. Again, pressing our fingertips away, feeling a stretch up our back, just relaxing into child's pose, letting gravity bring our hips down. And now let's come all the way up. This is a place where if we would like to have a block, we can. And we're going to bring our right leg forward so that we're in a kneeling lunge. We can stay in this kneeling lunge if we like, or we can lift up into a full lunge. We're just going to hold in this position. If we're in a kneeling lunge, we're focusing on keeping our hips level. If we're in a full lunge, we're thinking about strength in our leg. Just hold here for a couple more breaths. Now let's walk our foot over to the long edge of the mat. lean into that leg and just let the outside of our hip relax slightly. It might feel very tight right now, so just let it relax. Now let's walk that foot back into the center so that our knee and our ankle are in a straight line. Turn the toe under in our left foot, lift up and press back so we feel a stretch in our calf. And let's just hold here. Now let's place our knee back on the mat. Let's bring our right leg all the way back. Let's bring our left knee forward into a kneeling lunge. Again, we can stay in a kneeling lunge. We can lift up in a full lunge and just hold there. Let's just stay in whatever position we're in for just a few more breaths. Now, if we're in a full lunge, we bring our knee, our back leg, knee back down to the mat. We're going to walk our left foot over to the long edge of the mat, and again, lean in so that we have a nice stretch on the outside of our hip. We're just going to hold here. Now let's walk our foot back so that our ankle and our knee are in a straight line. Turn the toes under on our right foot. Lift up, press back into a lunge, and we'll hold here. Now let's place that knee back on the mat. Let's take our left leg all the way back. Let's do that one more time, bringing our right knee forward, our right leg forward into a kneeling lunge or a full lunge. Let's just hold here and breathe. Now, if we're in a full lunge, we bring our knee back down to the mat and then walk our right foot over to the long edge of the mat. Lean into that leg with both hands on the inside and just let that just soften slightly as we stay in this position. Might be starting to feel it just softening slightly. These muscles like to hold on, be very tight. Now let's walk that foot back in so that our knee and our ankle are in a straight line. Turn the toes under of our left foot, lift and press back, feeling that stretch in our calf. And we'll just hold here and just breathe. Now let's place that knee back on the mat. Let's take our right foot all the way back. Let's come up and bring our left leg forward. Again, we can stay in a kneeling lunge, or we can lift up into a full lunge if we'd like to work on strength. Just going to hold here for 5 breaths. We can start in a full lunge and bring our knee down and finish in a kneeling lunge, whatever we'd like to do. Now, if we are in a full lunge, we bring our knee back down to the mat, and then we're going to walk our left leg over to the long edge of the mat. We're going to lean in. We're just going to let our left hip just relax and soften slightly. So we'll hold here. Okay, let's walk that foot back in again so our ankle and our knee are in a straight line. Lift up and press back so that we can feel the stretch in our calf. We're just going to hold here. And now we're going to step. We're going to bring our right leg forward, bringing our right foot beside our left foot. We're going to sweep our arms all the way up. Inhale. And then we're just going to sweep our arms down again, just letting our head hang down and just pressing our hips back slightly so that we're feeling a stretch up the backs of our legs. Wherever our hands land is fine. We can soften our knees slightly. Just want to stretch out the back of our legs just a little bit more. Then we're going to sweep our arms, come all the way up, arms wide. Exhale down. Inhale up again. And exhale down. Bring our hands to heart center. And let's start moving into our warrior poses. So let's start with short stance warrior one. So stepping back with our right foot, not too far back. Our heels are in a line. Our hips are facing the short edge of the mat. Our front knee is slightly bent. Arms are high in short stance warrior one. We're going to hold each of these warrior positions for 5 breaths. And if our breaths are slow, nice and slow and relaxed, that can almost be a minute. So it might not be quite that long, but we can expect to hold these for a little bit longer. And now we're going to straighten our front leg. We're going to hinge forward from our hips, just letting our arms drop down into pyramid pose. And then we're just going to let our front hand drop down even farther. We're going to turn so that our chest is facing the long edge of the mat. We're going to bring our other arm up straight, up overhead into triangle pose. And again, this is one that it's a good place to use Ujjayi breathing, just to focus on staying in this position, feeling strong. And then we'll just bring our arm down slowly, turn our chest slowly. Again, bring our hands to heart center, pivot so that our right foot is forward, our left foot is back. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. So for short stance warrior one, our front knee is bent. We're sitting back on the outside edge of our back foot. Our hips are facing the short edge of the mat. Our arms are high in short stance warrior one. And then we're just going to straighten our front leg, pushing our hips back, just hinging forward, letting our hand drop down in pyramid pose. Just again, hold here. And then we're just going to turn so that our chest is facing the long edge. Our hand comes down farther. Our other arm goes straight up overhead, or depending what our shoulders want us to do, may stay on our hip. If we can bring it up into triangle pose, just hold here. Now we'll bring that hand down slowly. We'll turn our chest slowly, come up, bring our hands to heart center, pivot again. So this time our left leg is forward. We're going to bring our right leg farther back into long stance warrior one. Again, we want our heels in a straight line. We want to balance on the outside edge of our back foot. Our hips are facing the short edge of the mat. Our arms are high in long stance warrior one. And then we're going to turn so that our hips are facing the long edge of the mat. We're going to open up our arms, bringing our shoulder blades together behind us, looking out over our front hand. Front knee is still bent in warrior two. We're going to drop our back hand down on our back hip, turn our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. Now we're just going to, again, hinge forward from the hips, keeping our front knee bent, dropping our front hand in front of our bent knee. Other arm comes up in side angle pose. Now let's bring that hand down slowly. Let's turn our chest slowly. Bring our hands together in heart center. Pivot so that our right leg is forward. Our left leg is back. Let's push that foot back as far as we feel comfortable. Our hips are facing the short edge of the mat. Our arms are high in long stance warrior one. Now we're going to open up, bringing our hips so that they're facing the long edge of the mat. Our arms are open. We're looking out over our front hand, pressing our knees back in warrior two. We're going to drop our back hand down, turn our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. Now keeping our front knee bent, just hinging forward, letting our front hand drop in front of our front knee. Other arm comes straight up or can go right overhead into side angle pose. Now let's bring that hand down slowly, turning our chest slowly, bringing our hands to heart center. Let's pivot again, and let's do our warrior series one more time. So let's press back into long stance warrior one, sitting back on the outside edge of our back foot. Arms are high. Press back. it into our hips. Let's open up into warrior two. Again, bringing your shoulder blades together, looking out over our front hand, really pressing to the outside edge of our back foot, keeping our front knee from collapsing in warrior two. Now let's drop our back hand down, turn our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. Now let's bring our hand down, bring our hands to heart center, pivot again so that our right foot is forward, our left leg is back, front knee is bent, arms are high in long stance, warrior one. Now let's open up our arms, bring your shoulder blades together. Hips are facing the long edge of the mat, looking out over our front hand in warrior two. Let's drop our back hand down, turn our front palm over, side bend into reverse warrior. Let's bring that hand down, bring our hands to heart center. Just open up so that our feet are wide apart. Sit back into prayer pose. Just feeling the stretch on the inside of our hips, holding here in prayer pose. And then let's straighten our legs, keeping our knees soft, and just pressing our hips back so that we're coming all the way down to the mat. Again, we can have a block here, we can have a low block, or we can bring our hands to the mat. And just hold here. Now let's come up, bring our hands to heart center. Sit back again into prayer pose, feeling the strength in our legs. And then let's just push our hips back, straightening our legs, bringing our hands down to a block or to the mat, feeling a stretch at the back. And now let's bring our hands to heart center, coming all the way up again, bringing our feet closer together, finding our position on the mat. Sweep our arms up, inhaling up and exhaling down. Inhaling up and exhaling down. One more inhale up and exhale down. And now let's bring our hands to heart center and move into our balance poses. Let's start with tree pose. So with tree pose, we just turn our leg out, bring our heel to our ankle with the toe on the mat. We can leave it there if we like, or we can lift it up higher and hold, focusing on something to keep us from falling over, keeping our core tight. Arms can be high or they could be at heart center. Now let's place that foot back down on the mat. Let's turn our left leg out, bringing our heel to our ankle. And again, we can lift, can leave that on the mat, or we can lift it up. The legs have been working, so it might be, our ankles might be protesting slightly. Just hold here, beautiful. And now placing that back down on the mat, opening up. Let's move into dancer pose. Again, in dancer pose, we take our hands and we pick up our ankle with one hand, and other arm goes out, and we tip forward if we can. We dance around the way I'm dancing around. Let's see how you're doing. Beautiful. Looks great. And we can always put hands on a wall just until we get into position. Sometimes we just need that to kind of convince ourselves that we're okay. Let's put that foot back down, lift other leg up. And again, same thing. And just leaning forward. See how everybody else is doing. One side might be easier than the other side. Great, good, okay. All right. Okay. All right, let's try balancing half moon with the wall or without the wall, whichever you'd like to do. And then we'll go down on the mat. So balancing half moon, you can be up against the wall or you don't have to be. You can be, you bring your leg up to hip height, turn, and just lift. So we're balancing on one leg. And coming out of it, we turn, bring our hand down, bring our leg down. Same thing on the other side. See how people are doing. Okay, great. Okay, let's just try the other side. Again, just turn so that one leg, one hip is against the wall or not. Bring the leg up at hip height, turn. In balancing half moon. How are we doing? Maybe people don't like balancing half moon as much as I do. Okay, let's come back to the center of the mat. Let's bring our hands to heart center. Turn so that we are going to swan dive all the way down to the mat to our stomach. So let's open up our arms, soften our knees, swan dive all the way down, and we're going to come all the way down to our stomach. And let's just hold here for a couple of breaths. And now here, if you have a strap, you may need to use a strap or you may not need to. We're going to do half bow. So in half bow, we take our ankle, we take our right hand and take our right ankle. If we can't hold on to our ankles, we're holding on to the ends of our feet, we should use a strap or a towel. Our toes are really sensitive. We don't want to stretch any toes. Place your head on your bent arm in front of you so that your neck is not being strained. And we're just going to hold, pulling, feeling the stretch in the front of our leg. Just going to hold in half bow pose. We're going to hold these poses a little bit longer. And you want to aim to have our legs fairly close together. And again, holding onto our ankle, not our feet. And if we can't hold onto our ankle, then use a strap to give us a bit more length. You can almost start to feel the muscle give. You can feel it starting to relax. Continuing to hold. Who knew these muscles could get so tight? And this is a good time to just focus on breathing. Just letting your thoughts just fly by, not paying any attention. And just focusing on something in your mind's eye, a picture, a color, someplace where you feel relaxed. Just bringing that into your mind. so that when you're holding these long holds, you can just think about let time be suspended somewhat. Now let's release that leg. Let's bring our right arm forward, place our head on our bent arm, take our left hand and grasp our left ankle. And again, keeping our knees fairly close together, and just bring that foot in. If there's any tension or pain in our knee, we just release slightly. We don't want to pull so that there's any pain in the knee. And we'll just hold here and let that muscle soften. One side will feel a little bit looser than the other. Now let's release that. Let's bring our hands directly under our shoulders, and tightening our core, let's lift up, press all the way back into child's pose. Just press all the way back. We'll reset our back if we had a little bit of a, possibly a little bit of a back bend in doing that. So let's just press back. Now let's come all the way up. Bring our hips around. We're going to come back to our back. If we have a strap, bring it with us so we can reach it. And let's just taking hold of the backs of our legs. Let's roll down back slowly, just slowly to the mat, and bring our knees to our chest. And let's just roll around on the mat, just letting the mat massage our back. And now let's drop our feet with bent knees to the mat, and we're going to lift up into bridge. We're going to hold in bridge for 5 breaths. And then we're going to come down. We're going to bring our knees to our chest again, and we're just going to roll around. We're going to lap the mat, just massage our back. And then we're going to keep our left knee bent at our chest, and we're going to drop just our right leg down with the bent knee, and we're going to lift up into one-legged bridge, just holding. Now coming back down, bringing our knees to our chest again, just rolling back and forth. Now let's keep our right knee bent, drop our left bent leg to the mat, sole of the foot to the mat, lifting up again into one-legged bridge. Again, one side will feel harder than the other side. I'm going to hold for just a couple of breaths. And then we'll drop back down to the mat, bring our knees to our chest again. Just pressing in, placing our hands on our shins and really pressing our shins into our chest, feeling that stretch. And now, again, if we have a strap, we can use this to place around the sole of our right foot. So just around the ball of the foot, and just lifting our right leg straight up. Our left leg is long. If we don't have a strap, that's fine. We can just hold on to the back of our leg, just holding it up in the air. So we're just going to hold this straight up in the air. If we do have a strap, we're just going to just pull our leg slightly towards us, just feeling a stretch up the back. There shouldn't be any pain. Now let's release that leg. Again, if we have a strap, we'll switch the strap to the other foot. Bring our right leg long, lift our left foot up, and again, we'll place the strap around the ball of the foot and just pulling it slightly towards us. Again, if we don't have a strap, just hold on to the back of the leg. Now let's release that foot. Put the strap to one side. Again, bring our knees to our chest and just pull them in. Now let's keep our right leg bent. Drop the right bent foot to the mat. Take our left leg long and flat on the mat. Let's lift our hips up and press so that we're just have a little bit of space. Press our hips to the right, and then let our bent right knee just fall over our straight left leg. And bring our arms out at our shoulders, and we'll just hold in this twist. Now let's just lift up so our back is flat on the mat again. Let's keep our right knee bent. Bring our left knee so it's also bent. Straighten our right leg, keeping the left leg bent. Just lift slightly off the mat and push our hips towards the left so that we have some space for that left knee to just drop over our right leg. Again, keeping our arms up at shoulder height, just opening our chest. Just hold in this twist. This is our last pose before we're going to move into our final relaxation. So we'll just hold here for a few more breaths. Now we can lift up so that we're flat on our back is flat on the mat again. Straighten our legs. Find the position that is most comfortable for you for your final relaxation. I'm going to hold you in your final relaxation. Just turn the lights down a little bit if you can, just to have it be nice and calm and relaxing. And I will come back and get you in 5 minutes. Let's start to wiggle our fingers and our toes. Slowly bringing yourself back into the room. Let's rub our palms together, feeling the warmth in our palms. And when they feel warm, just place them over our face and our eyes, basking in that warmth. And then slowly open our fingers and our eyes. And when you're ready, come up to a comfortable seated position. And if you can, put your microphone on so we can connect. That would be great. So let's take one more big breath in together. And exhale. Bring our hands to heart center. Thank you all for coming to practice together today. And namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Great to hear everybody's voice.
Yeah. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Pat.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Bye.
How's the dog, Pat?
He's good. He was doing a lot of sighing. How is yours? How is yours doing?
We've had a few rough spots this week, but by and large, she's
okay?
She's okay. I mean, for almost 14, she's doing okay, right? So
I think she is incredible, really. She's an incredible dog. She really is.
She's a great dog. She's a great dog. So
she is a great dog, and she's been like 14. Like, you're so lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've had a lot of, you've cleaned
drama.
up drama. Right?
Lots of drama. We had a little drama this week,
Did you? Oh,
because we're bubbling here with the three granddaughters, and we've had a lot of dog barf to deal with. So.
How are the kids? Are you having fun with having them there?
Yeah, it's a ride. It's tiring, but it's fun.
I'm sure it's tiring. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
They're up at 6:30 latest, and they just keep going till 8:30, and it's just nonstop.
The little Energizer bunnies. That's what they are.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and how's your mom?
She's okay.
Has she got the shot yet?
Not yet.
Oh, really?
She's in Niagara, and I keep saying, so have you heard about the vaccines yet? And they keep saying, no, not yet. And Niagara cases are just going sky high, right? Like, it's just, it's like so close to the finish line, just to, get the vaccines in them, so we know they're safe. But
a lot of people I'm hearing now whose parents or mothers are in the 90s. They got like the last person I heard from today got it. So
yeah, I know. Catherine that runs with us. Her mom is. You're younger than my mom, and she's in a retirement home in Oshawa, outside of Bowmanville, and she got hers. Like, she's had hers, but my mom isn't. Well, I don't know. Anyway, I hope it's soon, because it is very scary.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, but she's really lost a lot of cognitive ability through this. Like, it's just getting harder and harder. She says she wakes up and she doesn't know where she is. And
no, it's rough, really rough. It's rough on everybody, but it's even rougher on them, right? So.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, it's good to see you. Good to talk to you. Are you going to get out into the world at any point, or are you just going to live at the cottage forever?
Well, we're big discussions going on as to whether we'll come back for a week. So we may come back for a week, because the baby has to go for inoculations, and so once we shatter the bubble with someone going to a doctor, we have to reposition. So
yeah,
we may wind up back in town for a few days. So
yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, it would be good to see you in the real, but someday we'll be able to run together again.
Okay, well, have a great week, Pat.
You too. Take care of yourself. Bye. Bye. Bye.